How's it going, everyone? My name's Sean Stone, and today we're here with Clement Hynaux. He is a European. He's French, but he lives near Madrid. And I'm excited to be talking with Clement today because I've always known him to be a sober voice in the field of Amazon ads, someone who's got a really calm and less dramatic perspective. And normally, whenever Clement starts talking, I shut my mouth and start listening. So I think you're in for a bit of a treat today with Clement. Clement, do you want to give yourself a quick introduction?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Sean, what's up? So thanks a lot for having me. I'm humbled and honored to be the first guest on your podcast. It's great that you're starting to be more vocal. You have tons of great ideas. We are in the same community for about 2 years, and yeah, I really enjoy our conversation. So it's a pleasure to be here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, how long have you been doing Amazon ads?
Right, so I'm in the field for more than 9 years. I was gonna tell you, I was telling you offline that it's easy for me to remember. My daughter is 8. That's when I switch careers. I was traveling a lot, uh, especially in Africa, Eastern Europe, a little bit of America. So it was too much to. I wanted to be a prison father, so I tried to find a better way of remote working and all that, and that's when I switched gears. So yeah, 9+ years.
Wow. Well, it seems like it was a good decision, and yeah, very happy for you. That's awesome. So, I guess to kind of get into the Amazon ads side of things, do you like what would you say is your specialty in when it comes to Amazon ads?
Right. So yeah, like we discussed, I'm getting a little bit of mileage under my how do you say, my engine, my
Your
wheels.
yeah.
Yeah, my belts.
Yeah.
I've freelanced. I've worked with agencies. I'm currently working with that Badger. It's been great so far. So um, I'd say, yeah, Amazon PPC. That's my specialty, definitely. I'm also leading the team of services at Badger, so I'm also involved in some leadership role here. I really enjoy that. Having two caps here is really, it allows me to be both keeping my boots on the ground and helping out, colleagues and be involved in this kind of discussion that we are having. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Do you so whenever you not only are somebody doing the work, but someone who's also helping others with the work, I find that the focus becomes how do I make more repeatable, effective outcomes? Do you think
Right.
that's something that you've been really focused on?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And not only that, because when you want to pass knowledge onto someone, you want to make sure that you really understand the things and really document it, and that pushes me to be more systematized than before, everything living in my head and not caring about passing the torch and so on. So I think that really helps getting you to the next level. I don't know how you would you say that helped you as well?
Yeah. Yeah, well, if if you can't teach it, you don't really know it. Oh, I think that's an expression that I've heard quite a bit. And so I think when it comes to getting a solid outcome for somebody, a lot of what you need to do is be focused on some kind of repeatable outcome. And so it's interesting to hear you talk about that because I think that's something that a lot of people who watch this will be interested in. How do you think about kind of driving repeatable outcomes through process? And how should the people listening to this, because not everyone's going to be fantastic at PPC, but then also some people who listen to this are going to be really high level. So maybe take us through the journey of how you might think about these kinds of things.
Yeah, okay, so that's a very broad question, but that's a very important one.
Yeah,
I think,
we'll dive into it. Don't worry. Yeah.
okay. So I think, PPC is both an art and a science. And let me unpack that a little bit. art game, you need to be able to test things out. It's a flexible field, right? We are getting new features, I don't know, at least monthly, sometimes even more. And then the features are being refined because Amazon is just testing so many things on us, throwing a lot of things at us. You need to be to stay on the edge, to be always testing out the new features when they come out. So you gain more experience faster than the rest. So that will allow you to, stay on top of everything. That's the art part. But then the science part, it's a lot of numbers, man. I don't know about you, but I'm in spreadsheets, apps, all these kind of things a lot. Like I'm seeing numbers dancing in on my eyes, even when they are closed. So, but that's the beauty of it. Like you can make if you can make the numbers talk, then you're on the right path. A lot of green, a lot of grid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's there's a lot of things you need to think about when it comes to kind of the art and science of it, because sometimes you'll make some decision that doesn't necessarily align with the data at all, but then that decision ultimately is what drives a huge incremental gain in your business. And especially with a system or an ecosystem like Amazon, where it's more of a power law that is a linear outcome. It kind of seems like those testing opportunities, as crazy and silly as they seem, sometimes can be the biggest unlock in somebody's business. Have you found that to be the truth?
Yeah, definitely. Like, that I want to piggyback on that thought and say something that I'm always repeating, but I think it's not really a truth in our field, is that PPC is not an island. A lot of people, they are just, and I know that I've been talking with brand owners about that, and you probably have too. I mean, this is a conversation that we often have, where they take ACOS as one goal, or they take ad spend as one goal, where they should really think about the business as a whole. I like mixed KPIs. By mixed, I think they are both organic and sponsored. It can make more sense because sometimes you want to push things through ads, and sometimes you want to see the impact of the organics and all that, right? This is the end game. Also, we know inventory is impacting how PPC reacts if we have low inventory or if we have small inventory. By the way, Amazon, please give us geolocalization, which we kind of had through AMC, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so we have that. We also have the listings quality, like give me some points on conversion, and then the PPC would look completely different. Those are truth to us, which are not often spoken, right? And often complex conversation that we need to have with brand owners.
Yeah. I mean, I think PPC is not an island is definitely a good way to put it. Because the way that I say it, and I don't know, maybe it's worse, maybe it's just as good, is nothing happens in isolation on Amazon. Like, just because you have really good ad performance does not mean that these other factors aren't going to have a huge impact on the rest of your business. So I definitely find that to be the truth. When it comes to something like Amazon, is there an unsexy truth that you kind of feel like, look, this is true and this is kind of unfortunate, or this is something that brand owners and other people you work with get caught up in? Or maybe the unsexy truth is it's all related.
Yeah, I would say I kind of touched base on that. It's daily grind. You really want to be in the numbers, be in the weeds. Never set and forget. Like some people, they say, okay, set up your campaigns like that, and then it's gonna work out. Or I've heard that, let them breathe. Don't touch at anything for a month. Like, I'm all for collecting data, but I'm against wasted ad spend. Like, we don't want to. I mean, you always have a set budget and you always want to drive good results, and you can actually shoot yourself in the foot if you're driving traffic that is not converting. At that, we decrease your goal, right? We don't want that. So this is one, and also that's patience is important. Like I say, move fast when it comes to wasted ad spend, but also, don't start a campaign, it's not working, stop it. Start something new, stop it. Historical performance is weighting heavy in the balance, and we want the campaigns to gather data and all that. So I understand that may seem counterintuitive, but I think at the end of the day, you want to drive consistency and you want to master the basics, follow the basics, keep things simple, don't go against the new shining object, keep a part for experimenting, because that's what we discussed, right? But like, I don't know, when sponsored brand video came out, don't pause all your sponsored product campaign and go into sponsored brand video all the way, right? You want to say, okay, I have 10% for new stuff, but the rest needs to be the fundamentals. And that's not very sexy.
Yeah. I mean, like I said in the intro, like, you have such a sober voice when it comes to all this kind of stuff, like well thought out opinions, really thinking about Amazon as a whole, not just as like this testing ground where you go crazy every single week. I think the idea of only using 10% for testing is a good one, because it really does fence off a maximum amount of money that you could end up losing. I've struggled to keep brand owners the 10% testing level, but at the same time, I think that there's definitely safe ways to do it and unsafe ways to do it. You did bring up something that I'm curious about, because it's been true in our experience, but I actually don't know if there's any way to prove it, which is, you said the Amazon advertising algorithm favors campaigns or campaign history. Have you been able to find anywhere in the documentation that proves that? Or is it just something that you found to be true in your experience? Because it's definitely true in my experience. I'm just wondering if you have uncovered something.
No, I haven't. Otherwise, I would have shared it with you. I don't think even Amazon's people know about that. I mean, they created a beast that has been built on multiple layers of codes and people, and you remember when the guy building the pyramids, they were
Yeah.
building them as a maze, and then they killed them, so nobody knows the way to go to the Pharaoh's tomb. I think that's the same way with Amazon. They maybe they didn't kill them, but they definitely got rid of them somehow. So yeah, this is where we go back to the art of the art part of the field, where you need to have a little bit of intuition, and that's where experience is really helpful. Like you need to have skills and experience. That way you can really be a good PPC manager and optimizer. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, first of all, that is a very well thought out answer. I'll be sure to make the title of this episode, Clement, thinks Amazon kills their employees. So
Right.
I'll be sure to go with that.
Yeah. Get that snippet on TikTok. Just take that. But
Just like the pyramids, Amazon kills their employees. But okay, so we talk a lot about, the unsexy truth and that kind of thing. What have you found actually works? And I mean, I feel like you might feel like you're going to be repeating yourself, but sometimes that's what people really need to hear. So
sure.
yeah.
I'm going to repeat myself, but also unpack that a little bit further. I said basics works, fundamental works. We've audited, I don't know how many accounts. We've seen a lot of new stuff coming on, and it often boils down to the same mistakes, where structure is bad. If you don't have a good structure, you don't know what's going on, like mixing match types, different products mixed with each other, no negation of keywords that are not working, search terms that are not working, you know, all this kind of stuff. So a good, solid campaign structure is key to be able to do a good job when it comes to optimization. And then, you know, workflows are fundamentals as well. Like, just build them a workflow that works for you. Graduate your keywords that are working. Don't negate them, but, you know, try to elevate them and give that new campaign some steam. Negate the keywords that are not working. Negate the ASINs that are not working. Keep some part of your budget for experimentation. For I always have some campaigns that are not spending a ton, but they are campaigns that will pick up some new trends. Like with TikTok, for example, some people will push a product and then everyone will seek that new keywords on Amazon. If you don't have campaigns that allows for this kind of capture, you're going to miss out on some of those sales. But be quick also to negate it if it's not relevant, because sometimes Amazon will not understand that it's not relevant to your brand.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's a really interesting take of the idea of having campaigns that are ready to capture unexpected demand. How do you set those up? Like, in what way do you kind of set yourself or your clients up for success for those types of keywords?
So that specific things that we just discussed. Yeah, okay. So like you need to have to rely on the auto campaigns to capture those things because like unexpected keywords might appear, and if you're not going to target it. But it's also true for ASINs. Like if you have new competitors, you cannot look for new competitors every week, but they will happen every week. And you know, we have the honeymoon period that is an also empirical thing that we are discussing, that there's no data on it. There's no hard evidence about it, but everyone knows about it. So you can piggyback on their benefits, you know, or even their larger budget, because if they are launching, then they probably are pushing their products harder. So another campaign might capture that, but you know, you need to be reviewing that at least weekly just to make sure that you're not wasting your money on that. But yeah, those would be auto campaigns. And to give you some numbers, I'm spending less than 5% on auto campaigns. I'm more of a manual type of guy, because those are easier to optimize as well.
Yeah. If you want to hear something a little bit crazy,
I do.
we've been finding that there's been a consistent increase in the amount of money we're spending on automatic campaigns with quite solid ACOS. And it's been something that honestly, as a very controlled, focused Amazon advertising manager, it really bothers me that these auto campaigns work so well. But again, you know, it started as a small test, then it grew in test size. Then we realized that the scale that we could test at, it just kept going and going and going. So we've been finding that automatic campaigns just keep going. And it's something that we're still trying to figure out why. Our current thesis is that Amazon's really trying to push sellers and advertisers more towards a machine learning approach that maybe gives them less control, the same way that Facebook and Google has, you know, with Performance Max and broad targeting being the best. So I don't know, have you found anything to be like that, or?
Okay, what you just say makes sense in the sense that Amazon pushes for that, for simplicity and all that. Yeah, like when you start a new campaign now, even if you put manual, you're going to have keyword related to your category. And that's basically a kind of automated / broad stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think that could be good. One thing that I'm going to open with, that always follow the data. If, you know, I'm trying to give heuristics and numbers, but if other campaigns are working for you, then just scale on what's working, build up on that. Um, so I'd say that wouldn't work with new products because you mentioned machine learning. If the machine has yet to learn, it will push poorly related traffic to your product. So I would say always be careful with that. Be mindful, at least at the beginning of the launch. But me, I'm having that buffer of testing of these kind of campaigns that can run a little bit wild, and if they're working, then I'll drive more budget to them.
Yeah.
So, but I haven't found out that it's a very established strategy for me. Maybe that depends of the category. Have you pinned that down to categories, or it's just
We've tried it across a number of different categories, and I would say 9 times out of 10 it works.
okay?
It's like the traditional catch-all strategy.
Yeah,
But the only thing we do a little bit differently is we like to segment by either price point or conversion rate,
okay.
depending on which has the bigger variance in the catalog. So if you have some products that are like 30% conversion rate and some that are 5% conversion rate, we kind of don't want them in the same catch-all campaign. So maybe you have multiple catch-all campaigns. And then on the flip side of things, what we're doing differently than a traditional catch-all campaign is we're optimizing for each placement as well. So I have catch-all campaigns with 19-cent bids and 150% top of search multiplier. And it's been shockingly effective. Like, I don't like how effective it's been. So,
So I would
that's something fun.
challenge you on that and ask you, but what do you think does it do to the account in general? Like, would it help building the brand? Do you think those are incremental sales? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we have these campaigns set up, and we still have all of our traditional keyword isolation campaigns, exact match, that kind of stuff. So it's not that we are now spending money in 2 places at the same time. It's often that we are spending money on this catch-all campaign at a price point that works no matter what. And then we have ranking campaigns or isolation campaigns where it's more of like a just like specific purpose-built campaign. And we found that the two of them in combination often really help build up velocity that we wouldn't be able to get otherwise.
Right. So if you were to use only the catch-up campaign, you say that wouldn't work, and they are actually potentializing each other, and that's something you can verify with the path
AMC. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Even with the standard reports, you have that now, or you have kind of a watered down version of it. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's something that we're actively investigating right now. AMC is like, we've been living in one room in a house, and now there's a new second bigger room. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so we've talked a lot about what actually works. I kind of wanted to see if you had a hot takes or truth bombs, stuff that maybe goes against conventional wisdom.
Right. I'm gonna go with be careful, because Amazon would prioritize ad revenue over your own profit. So don't go all in on that. Just be mindful on the effect it has on your overall account. There's one thing that I know you're hot on AI, and I am as well. But I think we're not gonna be replaced yet. Maybe it will come at some point. But I love the combination of human and AI. There are some solutions out there that just put AI in your face. I don't think that's the right answer. I think these are going to create thousands of ad groups keywords targets, and then they're not going to be able to get any instructions there. So careful with that. But yeah, and then I don't know, all just stay on your toes. All PPC tactics, they don't work anymore. Right?
Yeah.
The old days are gone.
Wait, so that's your hot take? Is that nothing works anymore?
No, that's not it. The old
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, the old stuff works. Yeah. Your hot take is what's old is new.
Oh, actually, the opposite. The old thing, like old. Okay, I like just put everything in one campaign. Old stuff, like just beat 10 cents. Old stuff work and hope to have something else. Like stay on your toes. That's the thing. Like if you watch videos that are 5 years old, then I wouldn't. I would take that with a grain of salt. Even though some of the basics again
Mm-hmm.
have evolved and they're still your foundation, but they're not the same as they were a couple of years. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah. Okay. So Amazon's constantly evolving. What worked 5 years ago won't work today.
it would have evolved. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you can have a version of it that isn't working, but the old version, like the one, would work. Or work with poor results. Like don't
Yeah.
apply these. Don't slip on it.
Yeah. It's crazy how much it's changed. If you think back about like what kind of stuff we used to do managing Amazon ads compared to what we do now, I mean, yeah, it's a lot.
It is. So, I studied in Europe, right? I did the opposite, where normally people start in the US and then they extend to Europe. I mean, in their career. So, me, I studied in Europe. And I used to say that the US market is actually your crystal ball for what will come in Europe. So, you can get that edge. But yet, those platforms were different. And the new markets, like, Netherlands recently received an advertising console. Poland is not that old. Sweden as well. And all these kind of things. They are kind of what Amazon was in the past.
Really?
Yes.
So there's big opportunity in these new markets that people are not really thinking about right now.
Kind of, because you don't have the same demand. So you can have some quick wins, but you're not gonna 2x your business. But it's easy hacks. Set up what works in the other countries, look at it and see if that gets traction there. But again, yeah, don't think that it's gonna explode. Or,
Yeah. I don't think anyone's thinking, oh man, Amazon Sweden's gonna 5x my business when I become the number one seller there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Although watch out, somebody's gonna see this and say, I'm gonna launch the next garlic press in the Netherlands. And yeah. Okay, so generally speaking, at this part of the interview, we normally try to let you have some kind of parting message. Is there something that you want the audience to do, whether it's check out something you've done lately or share some kind of thoughts, anything at all? The floor is yours.
Okay, cool. So I want everyone to get that home. Never stop learning. Like, PPC is evolving. You need to keep your sword sharp. You want to grow your skills with the tools that Amazon is giving us. But also don't view PPC as just its own little thing. Like, use PPC to grow an overall business. Just make sure that the goals align with yours or the owner you're helping. And yeah, that's I would say that's the most important things in my opinion.
That's a fantastic message. Again, a very sober, honest message, kind of very much sticking to the theme of Clement, the good guy, always focused on just doing what works.
Yeah.
Um,
Follow the data. That's it.
yeah, yeah, I love that. Follow the data is a great expression that should help you really push yourself forward in any field, but especially Amazon PPC. Okay, so where can people find you? I'll go ahead and plug you. You're great on LinkedIn. You've got tons of really interesting posts there. Clement, Clement, Hynaux, Hynaux. But what else? Where can people find you?
Yeah, lots of letters that don't do any sound like a French.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn is the place where I'm most active. I'm not on any of the other socials because I don't want to spend too much time there. I'm also featured in the Ad Badger podcast from time to time, and core community is also a great place to be. So yeah, that's where you'll see me hanging.
Yeah. Big fan of the core community as a member as well. So yeah, good stuff. Um, look, Clement, I'm so glad we were able to do this. Thank you for being the first guinea pig. Um, I feel like you really brought your A game, and I hope that the audience sees that as well.
Oh, thanks, John. Thanks for having me.